Right, hello guys, welcome to Art Kelly stream and welcome to PRF1-FGR special performance or realistic, whatever you want to call it, but special race I guess. Number 2 of the pre-season, well pre-season PRF1, I think FGR is mid-season, but it's been a Christmas New Year break in a way, just something special for those that wanted to take part. You see, once again we got a full grid which is awesome. And we are at Silverstone, Great Britain. Just in case you didn't know where Silverstone was. It's a full qualifying, full race. So it's going to be exactly the same as last week. It's going to be a long one, but if it's even half as insane as last week's race, bring it on. Because it's last week's was absolutely phenomenal. Head into qualifying 1. There will be a few changes. If you did watch last week, there's going to be a few driver changes, people in different cars. Last week was obviously the first time we'd done it, and maybe realised that maybe one or two were in cars that were a bit too high for them. So the idea being that the fastest guys from each league are in the slowest cars, and vice versa. So never going to get it spot on first time, but I think we're very close, to be fair. So it's Brazil last week. Can't remember, but it's my only stream. My last stream I did was this race last week, and as soon as he brought up the idea of doing another one this week, I was straight onto it. Yes, I will stream immediately because I absolutely loved every second of it last week. You guys did too. Well, we're into qualifying 1 then. Timer starts and it is wet. Wet Silverstone. We love it, don't we? Gotta love it. Wet quality, I'm all up for that, but please, let's have a dry race, just simply because it's 100% distance. If you get a full wet race around here, you're going to be getting in pretty close to the time limit, I'd imagine. So there's an engine going. Who's that? That's a Red Bull by the looks of it. Is it not a Red Bull? That was an Alpine I think I saw, but there was a Williams ahead of that anyway, so who's the... There we go. Who was that then? That was Jamsi's. He's out first in the Williams then. Beautiful conditions. Let's go on board. See what it's like. See, I don't know yet what the race weather conditions are, or expected to be. So, don't know whether they're having to do. You know, it obviously makes a big difference in this qualifying session if they can run the full wet setups, but. It's dry in the race, they'll have to run the dry setups in the wet weather, which is always difficult. I imagine quite a few drivers, a lot of people don't worry too much about practicing in the wet, they tend to prefer to practice in the dry, so this might be the first look at a wet track for most of the drivers, I imagine. It's wrong really, we should all practice in all conditions really, but understandable. Yellow flags coming up behind us. Not to worry, we're on anyway with Jamsi's, so a hilly hot lap as best we can. Oh goodness me, nearly did get over the line then. But across the line he comes and into turn 1, which usually in qualifying be flat out, but due to the rain, see having to go down to 6th, and we'll probably be down to 3rd, maybe even 2nd. No, 3rd was the lowest. Into the right-hander, left-hander in 3rd as well. I suspect that's to help with the grip on the exit. Comes out nicely onto the straight. Obviously no DRS, you would usually have DRS down here. You head up to the left-hander. It's down to 4th, probably usually 5th in the dry. Through there. I think I've even seen people take it in 6th. This right hand there, a bit wide out there, but decent exit, getting onto the power nice and quickly. So we head up to Cops now. Usually, easiest way to take this in a dry is to just quickly shift down to 7th. You barely have to lift that way, and it's obviously in the wet as you saw down to 6th. You've got to bear in mind that Jamsies will very much be finding his feet here as well. So 1:15.1 through sets of 2. So I guess the Beckett's all seem to go pretty well there. Head down to the end of the straight and gets bits of, I think it was oversteer on the exit. So not a perfect lap from Jamsies to start us off, but then I don't think anybody's going to do a perfect lap on the first attempt. So at the moment, of course, nobody will have even the slightest clue what sort of time to expect here to get through the Q2. So remember, it is realistic performance on the cars, as well as being completely wet. I've gone to the wrong Alfa Romeo there. Let's get to Ollie. He's out on Inters. That's managing. He's going to go quickest, so it's looking like Inters are the right tyre to be on already. So looks like Jamsies got a bit out of shape. Sniper on the full wets. Looks like there's a lot of drivers on full wets, but the tyres up. Yeah, there are a few out there on the Inters, and it does look like that's the right tyre going by. The fact that Ollie's gone fastest by over a second. As Robbo has a little spin in McLaren. Oops. Spin around too much and end up facing the grass again. At least he's in the right direction though, so at least the game won't disqualify him. That's the main thing. Always annoying when the game does that. We find somebody in a way. Who's this? This is Atkins in the Mercedes and on the intermediate tyres. Atkins do well tonight in the Merc. Oh, gets a bit out of shape on the exit. So if you remember back to last week, it was Master Spread that won the race. Remember between the two leagues last week, FGR were exceptionally strong in qualifying at Brazil. PRF1 came back through in a race, whereas with driver changes it may be a little bit different this week. We'll have to see. Atkins in P5 now in a way. Robbo's coming to the line, but of course we saw him spin previously, so can't find anyone. Who's that? No. Here we go, Kamarov at the final corner. Also one of the intermediates, and he goes P7. I may have been a little bit quick in shouting that Inters were fastest because of Ollie going fastest. So Big D now in the Alpha Tauri. Hello, Gritas. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Yeah, come on, PRF1. I mean, you know, and FGR because I'm completely independent sort of thing. You know, I'm not cheering for one over the other. So Big D into P7 then at the moment. Anybody else? What about Spriggs? How's he getting on? He's out on the full wets. Came through sets 2 in a very similar time to what Jamsies did earlier on. When we were watching him. How is he over the line? He's good over the line. P3. top 2 now as operator goes P2 in the Ferrari on intermediates. Nick on an outlap there, I believe. Let's stick with Nick then and see a full lap again. Got some Nick's in the Alpha. Who else? Pity on an outlap. He's in the Ferrari. If you remember back to last week, he had incredibly bad luck. Got disqualified in the race, crashing in the pit lane, but blocking the pit exit. But it was extremely unlucky. So hopefully get a chance to see a bit more of him this week. So ultimately, the goal for this session is going to be just to get into that top 15, and that could be, you know, if this track presumably is drying out, and that's why the intermediate tyres are doing so well. If it continues to dry out throughout the whole session, then ultimately it could be a really exciting end, or there's a bit of contact between Nick and the Red Bull. I'm not sure Nick really knew what the Red Bull was doing there. I don't think that bit of contact would have caused either driver any actual damage. It was next to nothing, to be fair. A little more in the brush. Into the final corner then. Heads across the line. 144.5, puts a P7 at the moment. Just dropped the P8. Who was that? That was McLaren that was just behind us. So, is that Shaz, I think? Shaz, I think that is. It's P2 in the McLaren, and that's on full wets. So clearly, there's not a lot to choose between the two tyres at the moment. What else we got? Anybody spot anyone maybe improving? Oh, Paul Pitty's gone into P3 in the Ferrari, so that's Ferrari P3 and P4 at the moment. That's interesting. So, Jansi's is invalidated. Dark Lord. Come down to the under sector 1, and he's nearly half a second down. He's on his way through to finish another lap. No improvement, only 6 tenths down, and we could be trying to recharge at the moment. The Red Bull's Tour de Caca improves with just over 3 tenths, which puts him P16 at the moment. Only just behind Big D as it stands, but still, when the conditions are like this, 6 minutes to go is a long time. It's very possible that the times that the guys are putting in right now are not going to be good enough by the end of this session. Even the top guys, that could be the case for. If it, presuming it is actually drying out, which I'm not really absolutely sure that it is. Okay, I actually be pretty sort of staying pretty samey at the moment. I don't think it's drying out or particularly getting wetter. I think it's pretty much the same. Everybody has at least got a time on the board now. See, looking down the rankings, I think the majority of drivers, I would say, are on the Inters now. But there is still about 8 or 9 drivers on the wets, so opinion is still pretty split. Let's make it interesting for us. Right, sort of Haas getting well out of the way on the exit of Cops there. Ryle comes through Maggots and Beckett's and lets it through the end of sector 2, and he's 6 tenths up at the moment, which will see him to about a 44.1, so he's on target for around about 14th at the moment, but obviously considerable improvement yet. I was in a Red Bull last week and was very competitive, so it's been demoted, if you like, to the Merc for this week. Oh, much bigger improvements through the final sector, so up to P11. I'm still not convinced that any of these guys can be resting on their laurels, though. It may be a case where everybody's going to have to be out on track at the end of this session. I don't think anybody in any position, even Ollie right at the top, I don't think anybody can be 100% sure that they're through on the time they've set. Trying to find someone. Spritter's on a decent lap. He was, I think it was showing a 10th down in sector 2. So just keep an eye over the line. 43.4, and then yeah, it did actually improve slightly. 3/4 of a tenth, puts in P9. In the same car with Spriggs, which could well be an almighty battle. Similar paced, I believe, these two, and that really shows about the tyres, though, doesn't it? Because they're similarly paced, they've got the same machinery, and they're separated by 18 thousandths of a second. So, not even a blink of an eye. I don't think you did the first half of a blink of an eye in that time. Cammy, Sergeant Kamarov, showing up through sector 1, just coming up towards the end of sector 2 now. Just out of the exit of here, just there, and he's showing a slight improvement, 600ths of a second up. Obviously already P4, so as Ollie now goes fastest, again 41.5, again that's a significant improvement. Careful, Ollie, you'll end up in a Williams next week at this rate. If I say next week, I'm not saying there's another one next week, guys, so I believe PRF1 starting. It's they start next week? No, it might be the week after, so it might be. I'm not entirely sure. Cammy does improve, then it goes into P3 on a 42.7. At the moment, Ollie Champ is absolutely blowing the field away. I know he's been practicing. I know he's been putting in the Discord that he's been practicing. So he's really prepared for it. And it just shows that if you do really prepare, see, chat in the stream's a little bit quiet at the moment. I'm guessing that's because quite often in the qualifying the drivers do actually talk to me, but because of the conditions, basically having to be out on track. In fact, if you look, every car bar 1 is out on track at the moment. Well, actually, a Ferrari's just come in, so two cars are in at the moment. Sniper. Well, in fact, that does mean that Sniper Boar will be out in Q1 because he hasn't got time to get out and do an outlap. So, we will be losing Sniper Boar. Paul Piddy is into the pits, which means as it stands right now he's P7. Will it be enough? We'll find out. Jamsy's just jumped up to P2. Operator across the line. Big time improvement from Operator. Goes P2 as well. 42.1. Nice lap from Operator. And, sorry, it wasn't Jamsy's that jumped up then. He's just completed an outlap. I missed who it was. It might have been Big D. Got anybody? Who's this? This is Misfit. He's moved up since I last saw him, so he's up into P13. So he's in the Alfa Romeo. So it's his teammate that's up. Well, he's just dropped a P2, Ollie. It's handy, good Leo. So Leo goes fastest on a 41.394. So, who's the McLaren? That's Robbo, he's into the pits. But just looking down then, it looks like, well, only Shrek can change things now. So let's go to him. Master Spread is on the verge. He's in trouble. Shrek just going through the end of Sector 2. And he's a second up. And that will see Master Spread out. If he keeps this improvement up, I believe it, but I think last week's winner, as long as Shrek just makes it through this without any particular issues, last week's winner is going to be exiting in Q1. Oh, he gets oversteer there. But that's enough. He goes into P13. That knocks Spreader down to P16. Atkins is still alive, actually, but he's through in a way now. You'll be glad to hear, but I think he's improving. He does have a nearly half a second. And Leo just goes faster again by another couple of attempts. Just to sort of stamp his authority on the session. But that's the big news there. We've lost Master Spread, last week's winner, and PRF1's champion. Spreader out. We also lose Dark Lord Davis, Dodi Kaka, and Sniper Vor, who didn't come back out to give it another go. So, very much following last week, isn't it? That's 4 PRF1 drivers out. The biggest shock, I suppose, being Spreader, but they're all 4 of those are very much capable of going a lot further into qualifying than they have. So, and Sniper War, I personally don't know, but so he didn't come out again after doing that lap, so maybe wanted to start down towards the back. But look at that, Red Bull, 1920. That's not a sight we're used to seeing. Perhaps they both thought, oh, I'm in a Red Bull, I'm going to do the last to first thing. But not good news for PRF1, only 6 left standing going into Q2. Here we go into Q2 then, and well, that's a familiar sight. Plenty of rain still coming down. There's a couple of details. The track's gotten wetter, but oh dear. Here I go again. I've been kicked. That's right, guys. I'll get back in pretty quick. Don't worry. Shouldn't really miss anything. If I miss anything, it's just going to be about half an outlap, maybe from someone. It's not really going to matter. At least if you're gonna get kicked, I wish it always sort of timed it well like that. So. Details back up that I like to have open. Oops. Don't need that. Right. Okay. Right then. Who's first out? A bit of a rush onto track by the looks of it. So Jamesy's is first out again in the Williams. See, they're pretty close. Pretty close together at the front here. Space out a little bit before you start your laps, boys. It's not. Good deal, yeah. I think one of them just did. I think it was a Ferrari. It might have been Alfa Romeo actually, but one of them's just yeah, it was Alfa Romeo. One of them just slowed things down a little bit. Obviously not ideal, particularly in these conditions. There's always every chance you're going to be a little bit quicker than the car ahead, and then you get caught up and held up and all sorts. So yeah, look at the track map now. They're all just separating out a little bit, although the Haas did just catch right back up to the Alfa Romeo again. In a way, Jamesy's or Jamsy's, whichever, is up and running. See Aston Martin, glad to say, noticed him arriving as he was coming out the pits, so stayed well out of the way. So the only sort of time that sticks in my mind from Q1 was low 115s through sets of 2. So keep an eye on that set of time now. He's on the intermediates again. Again, I just want to go to tyres, and as you can see, looking down the field, it's almost a 50-50. In fact, I think it is a 6 on intermediates, so 9 on full wets. 2 of them still sat in a bit, so comes across sector 2. It's a low 114 from Jamsy's, so that suggests that the track sped up a little bit. He was definitely a second slower than that in Q1, but mind you, that would have been his first lap overall that we watched him on, so it's every chance he's just improved and got used to where the grip is, etc. So 141.9 to get us started. Immediately a 140.6 from Leo, who was fastest in Q1. Who's this misfit, but he's invalidated his first attempt. Can't find another one of those group. Operator also an invalidation on the first attempt. Atkins also on the Greenwood tire is 42.6. So for me personally, I wouldn't like to be as closely grouped up as those guys are down there in any conditions, let alone these. Shrek onto a lap then, and he's using the full wet, so this should give us an indication if we can get a clean lap in. My suspicions are that as Big D goes into P3, my suspicions are that the intermediates are the faster tyre out of the 2. Let's see if Shrek can maybe confirm that for us. The highest wet tyre runner at the moment is Ryer all in P4 on a 42.3, so he's 7 tenths off P1. Shrek going through Raggets and Beckett's, all that jazz, and yeah, so he's 7 or 8 tenths down on what Jamsy's was in the through sector 2. And Jamsy's been in the Williams. Well, it means 2 things, of course. So yes, he's got the slowest car, but he's also got. That also means he's one of the fastest guys on track as well. So it's something to bear in mind. Effectively, your bottom 3 teams, so your Williams, your Aston Martin, and whoever the other one is, actually, I'm not 100% sure. Quite frankly, I think it's AlphaTauri next, but anyway, it's yeah, basically if they're in one of those cars, then they're a particularly quick driver. 2 leagues. So Kami Out there in the other Williams. So it's hard not to refer to them as teammates. In a way, I guess it might be better to call them rivals tonight. But rival Williams driver up in P3 at the moment on a 41.9, and he did that on intermediates as well. So let's see where Cammy can go. Good. 7 or 8 attempts slower than the other Williams was through there. So the early doors in the session yet. Well, yeah, we're just coming up to 5 minutes into the session, 7 minutes left, so plenty of time for things to change. And you never quite know, because people know full well there's every chance that conditions are going to change as you go on. Might have one or two playing a few games and sandbagging, and as Cammy goes P9 then on a 43.2. 1.3 seconds slower than the other Williams. This is Spriggs on his way across the line. It's a 43.5, puts himself into P12. Oh, and we've lost McLaren. Excuse me. Not sure if they've done that in the pits actually. There's no yellow flags on track unless I've missed something, but looks like Shaz has dropped out. Meaning we'll just lose 4 more at the end of the session. So currently that's Ollie so fast in Q1. Not reproduced that as of yet. Robbo in the other McLaren, Spriggs and Misfit are the current drivers that we would be losing if it stays as is. Pretty very close to his PD through sets of 1, so let's stick with him. Hey El Capitano. I'm all good, thank you, my friend, and yourself. I hope you had a nice Christmas, mate, over there in the States. So, Mr. Piddy, just going through the Maggots Beckets. Love that camera shot. Really nice. Nice view of how, particularly in the dry, how quickly a Formula 1 car can really throw itself about a track. Because I was nattering on about that, I completely missed the sector time. I've got no idea if he's improving or not. I heads to the pits, so I can only assume then the answer was that he wasn't. It's Nick. He's driving slow there, isn't he? Oh, he's slightly up through sets of 2. My apologies, Nick. I wasn't driving slow. Lands into final few corners. I tend to refer to, probably hear me in a race referring to it as the stadium section, a bit like Mexico. And Nick improves by a quarter of a second onto a 42.5. Still really difficult to know which tyres are better. I think I'd still have to suggest it's Inter's a better tyre. Just why would so many drivers have selected them otherwise? Oh, Cammy was improving then, but he's invalidated. But he has actually improved since we saw the lap that he'd done. So remember, he was 1.7 seconds, 1.5 seconds, or 1.7 seconds off of the other Williams at that point when we saw that lap. But he's much closer now. Very early in the lap. Let's go to the guys that sort of matters for in this session. Obviously, it's got to be in top 10. course you can golf. What do you mean? Yeah, same here, Alcat. It's been long enough now. Just want to get back on. We had a little sort of practice fun race around China last night in Arc, but it's 12 of us doing it. But it was good fun actually. Quite enjoyed it. I think my first competitive race is on Monday. Here's Ollie. Comes into the stadium. Sector 2 yellow. Although looking at the map, I think it might be a Haas-off track. I thought he was just letting somebody else through, but actually still there, still stuck there. He's got going now. Looking at it, Ollie, by the way, up into P2. Lap. We've got some couple of drivers just coming round. Oh no, that's an out lap. Robbo not improving. Plenty of energy to have another go. Let's go to Misfits. Currently in P14, just on his way round towards Cops now. Yeah, spread her out in Q1, Grezza. That was a shock. Yeah, definitely Alcat. It was, yeah, it wasn't sort of a proper, like, organised practice one, so to get 12 at the short notice that it was good going. Won by Daguna with a guy called Massey, who jumped in and joined, coming second, me third. So, yeah, it was a good bit of fun. Fit on his way out then. I think this is going to take him up the order somewhat. Head to the line. 42.2 goes into P10. Ooh, is that going to be good enough? He can't do a cool down lap. He's just going to have to go again. So let's find. Well, this is these guys' last chance. So the other Aston Martins, we mentioned Spreader, just got eliminated in the last seconds of Q1. Spriggs crosses the line now, only goes P12, so that's the second Aston now out. Robbo doesn't improve, so that's both McLarens out in this session, 14th and 15th. Shrek is just coming through the end of sector 2. And he is improving, he's 6 tenths up. 42.5, putting P11 at the moment, so he's going to have to find some more in. It's about another 3 tenths roughly to displace Misfits. He's just had to. It sounded like he just had to ease off the power coming out of that corner then. Here he comes. Oh, and was struggling to get on the power there. Did improve by 8 tenths. He's only just missed out, less than a tenth. It's sort of best of the rest and finishes P11. Unless Nick's able to do anything about it, but no, he's invalidated. So that will be it then. So we are going to lose Shrek in P11, Nick P12, Spriggs in P13, Robbo P14, and Shaz, who didn't get a time on the board, and I think retired in the pits, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. I'll lose those guys from Q2. So, going into the pole position shootout, we've got Leo, who looks like a pretty clear favourite at the moment. Ollie in P2 again this time. He's doing an absolutely superb job as Ollie. And Paul Piddy, great to see him up there after the problems of last week. Big D going into the top 10 shootout as well. Atkins, Operator, Jamsies, Kamarov, Ryo. finish off confirming those. Royal and Misfit was the last one, so this one we've lost 2 PRF1, 3 FGR this time. That means there's 4 PRF1 left. If my maths are right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's it. So it's 4 against 6 in favour of FGR for the top 10 shootout. Just have a little look. Where did Shaz DNF? That's terminal damage, so it was on track. Sorry, I missed that. I didn't even see the yellow flags come up at that point. I must have been chatting, nattering away. So what you have? Oh. What else did we expect in Britain? I know I'm spectating the session. Why are you telling me that? I can't participate anyway because there's 20 drivers. I think I must have pressed A instead of Y to spectate when I had to rejoin the lobby. It doesn't matter, as I say, there's 28 drivers, so I can't possibly get a cart. Right, I think we're going to be seeing, yeah, Game had put them on full wets again, look, but changing to winters. We're going to see a whole qualifying session like this where it's touch and go between the two tyres, two compounds. Pretty much so far, but the way it's been so far, it has seemed like it's been a bit of a personal preference thing of whether you prefer in these particular conditions to use the inters or the full wets. Seems to have been a personal choice. It's Alfa Romeo out first this time, and that Alfa Romeo is Ollie Champ, so he gets on. He's out on the full wet tyres. With the length of the track here at Silverstone, it's not massive in comparison to somewhere like Singapore, but in terms of lap time I'm talking here, but it's long enough that you're only going to get the 2 runs in, I believe. If one of your runs does go a bit wrong, you could potentially abort and still have time to do a third one attempt, but so maybe people are going to split the difference. Maybe do 1 lap on wets, 1 lap on inters. So a little bit different this time. So in the other 2 sessions, we've generally seen a slight leaning towards intermediate tyres. To start this session, it's 7 drivers on the full wets, 3 on the inters. Yeah, Will Greza, although I'm kind of hoping it's dry, it's a lot of laps. It's where it adds a good 20-30 minutes to the race time. So, in fact, if you're wet at Singapore, good luck finishing that one. You ain't going to do it within the 2 hours, I don't think. So you might, yeah, I think you should be able to here. There's only 52 laps around here, isn't it? Full race. So anyway, so far so good from Ollie. It's looked clean, tidy. Only worry though, Greza, if it is a fully wet race, or it's raining all the way through, so it's either inters or full wets, the overtaking around here can be very reliant on the DRS down back straight. So, he's done well there, actually, to be fair, not to end up in the ball. Just has a little moment out of cops, so we're going to see if that's Ryrel. Oh no, it's not Ryrel. Who was it then? It was Leo, who's invalidated. So next driver, I think, is Williams. Jamsies. Shout out to Jamsies and Kamarov, by the way, because getting into Q3 in a Williams is... I can speak from experience because I drive in a realistic Williams every Wednesday night, and I can tell you it's not easy at all. Made a few Q3s, but it's difficult. Mind you, the league I drive in isn't... It's not a case of the fastest drivers and the slowest cars at all, so... Depends on the team owners who wants to sign who. So in a way, we get some times on the board. Jamsies manages 43.7. Operator immediately goes fastest with 41.7. Ryle just on his way round. There's a couple just crossing the line ahead of him. Kamarov goes 43.5. Ryle then 42.8 goes into P3. 42.4 for Big D in P2. He could be one to watch in an AlphaTauri, Big D. The AlphaTauri is no... It's not a bad car, you know, that AlphaTauri. It's really good in a straight line. The only thing, I think the downforce suffers a bit, so for the cornering, so you probably lose the straight line speed because you have to up the wings for the corners, but... Atkins then into P3, 42.591. There is a Ferrari, that'd be Paul P, was it? Yeah, but didn't put a time on the board. I think he was on night lap actually. Got Leo. Remember, validated his first attempt. This is attempt number 2. Which, thinking about the times here, and what we've got left, you should have plenty of time. Finish this lap and then do an in lap. Just won't have much time in the pits to liberate. But I think we might be seeing these wet tyre guys switching to Insers as Leo. Well, maybe not then, because that means it's wet, full wets, 1 and 2. So Leo and Operator, P1, P2, both using the full wets. Big D is the highest intermediate runner in P3. With these drivers just coming down. Both got times on the board, so I don't think they're going to be completing their laps. Oh, I was wrong about the Alfa Romeo, apparently. Well, pity then, just coming up to the last part of the lap. Brilliant to see Paul do well this week. Say, I don't want to go on about it too much, but after really bad luck last week, and there it goes into P3, so a nice lap, 42.296. Well, gotta say that we must be on full wet conditions now. The fact that the full wet tyres are taking up the top 6 place. Oh, change that. It's now the top 8 places. Oh no, I think that's because somebody's just changed their tyres in the pits. But you know, I think it's the top 6 places are taken up by full wets at the moment. Cammy going on round. He's just invalidated, so that would have made his mind up for him in a way. Into the pits he comes. Misfits through sector 2. There's a couple of attempts up, but honest truth is I think he needs to abort and come in for full wets. That seems to be the way to go. If he continues round, he's not going to have long enough to get round again, but he's also up on lap time, so he wants to finish his lap, and well, I think may end up regretting that. He goes P8 on Inters, and Ollie's in the same boat. I'm not sure he's got enough time to come in for wets, so it looks like, funny enough, why, but it looks like it's going to be the 2 Alfa Romeos that stick to their guns on the intermediates. I may end up regretting it. Let's just I'll assume that that's the case. Let's see how well he gets on here. Sorry about that, but anybody that's been actually watching will know that I didn't even get the warning for that. Battery's running low. Well, Ollie's gone into P3 on the Inter, so that's... Well, with the way that it's going, that looks like that's a really good job by Ollie. Yeah, it's Misfits those. Well down. I think it's recharged to have another go, Misfits. So let's just go nip back to Atkins, who's slightly up in sector 2. Comes across the line then, and well, it does improve time-wise for 6 thousandths of a second, but that's not getting to many places. Jamsies. Big improvement from Jamsies. Goes P4. Great job in the Williams. And Cammy. It's actually on a out lap, I believe. So who else we got coming round? Ryle, who's a few temps up. Yeah, it was really competitive last week in the Red Bull Ryle, and so as punishment for being competitive, he's been moved down to a Mercedes. And 6 tenths improvement goes P5, but he's not going to let that put him off. He's going to stay competitive regardless. I'm just wondering, is he going to make the line here? Yeah, I think he... Oh, it's going to be... I think it's going to be close. I think he will. Don't have a little half spin or something, because you won't. Nothing like wanting to be the last man over the line, is there? Wow, an operator 41736. Is that an improvement? I'm not too sure. He just finished that lap. I mean, it might have been an improvement. Atkins is into the pits then. There's 2 cars coming down the back straight. I'm trying to get the front of the 2. Well, Leo's invalidated. And yeah, Jamsey is the other one. And Cammy is improving. And this looks like it might put him up as high as P3. Yep, P3, 41.859. Very nice lap from Kamarov. Great job from both guys in the Williams. You've got to give it to them. So hard to do. Ryle, a couple of attempts down. Although we did witness him having a little bit of trouble out through these final couple of corners. Hit the power down one. Oh no, 2 attempts down. And the Alpha, I think it's just gone into the pits. So this fits the last actual runner. That is actually an AI ahead of him because that's somebody that's finished their laps. And I hate to say it, I think that's me being kicked out again. not. Reza, I promise you, it's so close between those two cars. I don't think one's particularly better than the other. Um, I think if you actually look at the starter career mode in the game, I think it has Aston as the bottom car now. But the problem is, you look at the if you start a career with Williams and look at their upgrades, all of their upgrades bar one is on durability. So, which obviously has no bearing on online races. So, I think the other one's on the powertrain, but. I actually can't get into the session right now. I've got to wait for them to sort of move on to the next bit before I can actually enter the session. But yeah, another really good qualifying, really tight. Perhaps not as tight as last week, but I guess being Silverstone over Brazil, it's a lot longer a lap, so I suppose you would expect it to be a bit more spread out this week. I've just seen a quick message from Spreader in the Discord to say that the start time will be 9 o'clock, so any drivers listening, please do not ready up. Wait for an admin is probably the best way, that's what I always do. Okay, guys, while we're waiting, then I'm just going to grab myself a coffee ready for the start of the race, and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, guys, back with you. And sweet. close to start. Yeah, night, Dad. So, it's going to come out on top this week. Superb race last week. Pretty much within a second of each other at the front throughout, which is pretty impressive. Let's do that on a 100% race. But we had battles going on all the way through the field last week, and hopefully it'll be the same this week. And it looks like it's dry, at least for the start of the race, in a way, which I'm quite glad about. I think that's better. I think it brings out tyre strategies and stuff, which is better for us watching. So I can't say 100% know what the best strategy is around here on a 100% race. Obviously 50% you'd be one stopping it medium to hard, or hard to medium, whichever way around you want to do. I'm going to take a wild stab that it's quite possible that the one stop's still faster than the two stop on a 100% race around here. Purely because the pit stop is so long around here. You lose well over 30 seconds of time on a pit stop around Silverstone. So I'm going to take a wild stab that the one stop's probably quicker. But it also depends if safety cars come into it or not, which is very much a possibility at Silverstone. It's got decent runoff area, Silverstone. Seed safety car if somebody crashes, but I can't say what's going on now. Have they actually been kicked, or have I been kicked again? I think I've been kicked, guys. For God's sake. Sorry about this. But, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what much I can do about it. If anybody's wondering, it was me that was kicked, because if it comes up saying migrating host at the bottom, and then you get all of like driver after driver after driver coming up, it's because I've been kicked, not them. Be as quick as I can and try and get in. Before they complete the formation lap. Please don't let us miss the start of the race. Quick. I'll be as quick as I can getting back in. Basically have to drive on a formation lap. We should be fine. We should be in plenty of time to see the start of the race. Yeah, we're still on formation lap. So, get the tyres up. Right. Well, not sure what's happened to Leo, but he's managed to end up with cars ahead of him. So he's had some sort of spin or something. There's Leo. I wouldn't let him back past. Just so you know, I wouldn't let him back past. I don't let drivers back past if they spin on formation lap. So in a way, Leo is obviously starting the hard tyres at the front, so he's pretty much, you'd think he's going to be vulnerable from Operator and Cammy. Can I just give a shout out to Operator for qualifying P2? What a superb qualifying Operator. Well done on that. I'm sure Cammy will be looking to take advantage of his tyres at the start. Ollie, though, starting on the softs, which effectively means he's two-stop. I can't imagine that the game's got it right there. I can't imagine for a second he's going soft to hard. The other driver on softs is the other Ferrari, Paul Piddy, who's starting P7. A few drivers not fitting in their grid slots properly. As we have the lights coming on. All five on, and out they go, and away we go. And it looks like Leo got a decent start. Ollie absolutely flew off the line on those softs, which you kind of expected. I think that's exactly why he started on them. Purely for that opportunity, and we've got a spinner. There's a McLaren off. It's Robbo. Let's end up in the gravel. Let's see if there's any damage to him, but seems to be any other cars off at the moment, so that happens so often at Silverstone. Let's be honest. She's got it. Particularly drivers starting on different tyres, you ain't got the same levels of grip at the start of for the first corner as each other, so it does happen around here. Jamsy's in a way is become the lead Williams, so Jamsy's into P3 with Cammy down to 6th. Let's get the position changes up actually. So position changes, yeah, Ollie's up 2 then, a brilliant start. Jamsy's up 2 as well. Big D up 4, superb start from him. But Operator's lost 3, Cammy's lost 3. Paul Pitty's exactly where he started. As Atkins just gets ahead of Ryle there. And he's now up 1. Our biggest gainer off the start was Master Spread, who's up 6 places. It's also very good, up 5 places, is Dordy Kaka as well. Leo puts in fastest lap. Try and keep an eye on these front guys. The Shrek is into the pits at the end of lap 1. Looks like Robbo's following him in as well, so maybe... Oh, Sniper's in as well. So maybe the problem at the start was between those 3. And he's having a look at Operator. What is happening tonight? Check my internet. There's actually nothing wrong with my internet, so I don't know what. Maybe it's the servers. I really don't know. Just frustrating. I did a hard reset on the internet earlier on and checked all the speeds and everything, and it's running absolutely brilliantly. So it's not my internet. I can 100% promise you it's not my internet. It's something else. I'll say whether it's the servers, but then it doesn't seem like anybody else is having any problems at all. I haven't had to invite anybody in at all. So I don't know. No point worrying about it too much, drive yourself nuts. So back in we are then, so Leo's still leading with Ollie P2. Jamsy in P3. Let's get details up. It's all very close here. Leo sort of managed to pull out a decent lead. He's got 1.7 seconds over Ollie now, and Ollie in turn has managed to pull out just over a second from these guys, although it appears that he's made some sort of mistake there through Maggots and Beckett's, as Jamsies is right onto the back of him now. Whatever's going on, it's really flickering about on my screen and everything now. I hope the stream itself isn't too bad for you guys watching. Leo sets fastest lap again. That's all pretty though, breaks it immediately after. Oh, and that's Ollie. He's struggling, isn't he? I don't know what's wrong, but he seems to be struggling. Pitching down to P6 at the moment. So, battles going on down here, as you can see, with this one between Dodi Kaka and Shaz. Looks like Dodi's come out on top of those two, and he's in P15. Operator picks up 3 seconds. Dodi and Shaz both with penalties as well, by the way. Kami is dropping down. He's had a spin. And a little reset to track there. I wonder if he made his way to the edge of the track, and I wonder if he'd got him beached. The edge of the tracks does that sometimes. The only way to get moving again is to reset. So anyway. Right, to find himself dropping down the order at the moment, but getting the rhythm. I wonder if he set up wet. Explain it. Ferrari rival Paul Piddy though, having the opposite. He's having a fantastic race, up 3 places now into P4. As Ollie then is into the pits, so something's definitely wrong for Ollie. What's going on there? And that's not tyre drop off. There's no way the softs have dropped off just 4 laps into the race. So something else is wrong. I'm just wondering if there's a front wing change here. Nope. Appears to just be a tyre change. I'm not sure. Maybe he'd lit them up when he was off track and they were struggling to get him back in room temperature. Perhaps he's forgotten to change his PSI and was finding that the softs just wouldn't stay within the required temperatures. I don't know. Don't know. Right, talking to him. But Jamsy's coming under pressure here from Paul Piddy. Pretty much on the game as big a mismatch as you can have, a Williams against a Ferrari. Potentially the Red Bull against the Williams could be another one, but here we go with the RS. I would think the RS and the Ferrari power in the engine, which we know from the real life that Ferrari power this season was absolutely immense. And good awareness there from Paul not to drive in to the Williams as he was going through. Atkins taking advantage there and nipping through into P4. A little bit of an opportunistic move there, I guess. Spreader like up 10 places into P6 already. He may have qualified out or been knocked out in Q1 in qualifying, but he's not out of this at all yet. Plenty of time to go. Loads of time for a safety car to bring everybody back up to the back of Leo. This race isn't done, not by a long chalk. Oh, here we go. Am I being kicked again? No, I think that actually was Master Spread being kicked, not me. Yeah, he's in the main menu. Well, this would be annoying for him. I hope he gets back in quickly. Yeah, there he is. Hopefully he gets back before the guys behind him catch him again, because what a job he's done so far, up 10 places. How frustrating would that be? Otherwise, it looks like there's a little battle actually for us. Misfits on his way past Spriggs. Nicely done from Misfits. She had a much more powerful car last week, but he's gone for the Alfa Romeo this week. He felt in his practicing that he was going to be way off the pace, but up into P7 now. He's done a very nice job indeed. He's going to see if he can get after Master Spread. As Daldy makes another move, this time on Davis. Daldy in the Red Bull up into P12 now. Remember, the Red Bull started 1920. One of them is still down in 20, but remember he did have to pit first lap as well, so he's one of the 3 drivers that had to pit. Looks like Doherty already able to extend the lead from Davis as well, so clearly on a bit of a charge at the moment is Doherty Carcat. What we got going on there? That's Ryle getting ahead of Spriggs. Was that oh my goodness, please tell me I didn't just miss a move in Cops. I think I might have done. In Cops, or it was on the exit. Or maybe Spriggs has had a bit of a moment or something, but he's... I think somebody might have disconnected from the session. I'm not 100% sure, but I think somebody might have done, because it's just messing around with the standings a little bit as well. Spread is slow. He's definitely slowed the day down, though. He's in an Aston Martin, realistic Aston Martin. Yeah, Grezza, you're right. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the softs will burn up. You're absolutely right, they will. But not at the end of flat 4 like they seem to for Ollie. That's why I'm wondering if he forgot to put his PSI back down from qualifying. Shaz absolutely flying now as well, up 7 places. Anything going on? We're on the spread then. Who's now caught up to the back of Big D. You got to give it to Spreader. Start your P16. 11 places and already onto the back of P4. From what I understand, look at this around the outside. What is it? Is it me? Have I disconnected or something? Can anybody help me with this? Have I disconnected? Because Spread just seems to drive straight through Big D then for me. Seems to go to the outside to make a move and they just drive straight through. A strange one. In a way, whatever happened there, Spreader is up into P4 and he's now going to see if he can get after the Ferrari. Yeah, and... well, what's happened to Leo? These guys seem to have caught him back up. Something happened to Leo, or is it just that these guys have caught him? Shaz continues their charge on a piece out. I'm not 100% convinced I'm connected, you know. I'm going to be on the safe side, guys, and I'm going to... oops. I'm going to quit out and rejoin, because I'm not 100% sure that I'm actually commentating on what's really happening. It takes a moment to rejoin, so I'd rather be sure. Right, here we go then. Right, back in we go. Oh, goodness me, what's going on? Right, so now we're showing that Big D's into P2, Jamsy P3. They're nowhere near Leo, which they were before I reset, so it looks like I was getting a bit of false information going on. So Spreader's actually in P6. and on the back of Atkins at the moment. Spriggs in the other Aston Martin is on the back of Spreader as well. So I'm not sure at what point things started going wrong for me, but I think it was a little while. Shaz is actually in P10. Make that P9 as they make a move on Ryle. It's down the back straight and up into P9, so nicely done. Moment, Leo dominating in the Alpine. I do find that people still this season say that Alpine is OP on the game compared to what it was in real life, and I'd say I'm in too much of a position to argue that. I think it was a good car, to be fair, this season, but I think we've gone a bit overboard with it. On elsewhere and might have another battle going on. Davis on the back of Ryle. Ooh. Yeah, that didn't just have. Oh, for goodness sake. But difficult to commentate, if I'm honest, when you're struggling to see what's happening as Spriggs gets past Spreader. So two Aston Martins. Obviously, Spriggs has got a run on Spreader down the back straight. So up into P5 goes Spriggs. Said before, I don't think these two guys are separated too much in terms of pace, so they could potentially do quite a bit of swapping about between now and the end of the race, and so it may become particularly difficult for the car behind is if or when they do catch onto the back of Atkins. But Atkins looks pretty pacey himself at the moment in the Mercedes. He's doing really well. Looking for a battle where there's likely to be an overtake. I do apologise to Kamarov. I hadn't noticed that he dropped all the way down. Let's just bring up the tyres a second. It might give me an idea. Yeah, so Kamarov at some point had to pit. So everybody from 16th down is pitted. Everybody above 16th is still on their starting tyre. So the gap between 15th and 16th is 27 seconds. That's close enough for Ollie that you would gain those places when they pit. But let's say it's a very long pit stop here at Silverstone. Back onto the back straight then. See, Spreader not interested at the moment in using the energy. Just notice there is a tyre difference. Spriggs is on the hard tyres to Spreader's mediums, so 12 laps. Well, just coming up. 12 laps completed onto lap 13. I'd imagine the hards are probably beginning to be a bit better than the medium tyres. So, nothing else going on. Misfit is got the back of Paul Pitty. So Paul Pitty was the other driver, by the way, that started on the soft. So it's him and Ollie Champ. Ollie Champ pitted after just 4 laps. Paul completed 12 laps on his now. So I'd imagine he'd be getting pretty close to pit stop time. The game did suggest a soft to hard at starts, if you remember, but it's going to be a monumental stint on the hards. So, we're going to get to an overtake there, but actually Paul's just gotten away a bit again. So this looks like a good run for Shaz. Just the outside on the straight. and has the move done way before we reach the corner. So very well through Magnus and Beckett's there, Shaz, and has exited. Brilliant run on the straight. And we've got a set to free yellow. I don't know where. Oh, it's around here somewhere. That's a car recovering just ahead of us, and that is Jamsies by the looks of it. Jamsies, Jamesies, whichever. Not probably Jamesies. He's made a mistake. That's dropped him. I think he was running in P3, so he's dropped from P3 to P7. Shah's gonna line up a move. Shaz has worked the way through the field brilliantly so far. So just not close enough. Some other potential battles going on behind, so answer here is Ryle Davis, an operator. Close at the moment. Oh, Paul Pitty is into the pits to come off of those softs, and he picks himself up 5 seconds. It's an annoying pit lane, this one. I don't tend to push the limits on this pit lane, I have to admit. I slow a little bit early, deliberately. Oh, and that's operator, and that was Dawdy Karkan's gone into him. The operator spun, Dawdy couldn't avoid him, and unfortunately I think is that a full safety car? It is. It is. So that's just a bit of misfortune, I think. I think operator's just had a spin at turn 1. And it's just unfortunate for Dawdy that he's come around and not been able to avoid him. So, full safety car, and Leo's lead would disappear. So, careful, Paul. Got to be just a little warning for people. If you're close to the safety car and you know you've got to pass it, but it's still getting to the point where it will stop, just be a bit careful. The safety car is not programmed very well on the game, and it will drive into you. So. As it did to someone in a race that I was in before Christmas. Game, but very annoying for the person they drove into. Well, we are in pit stop tree, so the guys that started on softs or mediums can pit and go to hard tyres potentially to go to the end. So actually, this has the potential to ruin some races here if there's no further safety cars. If we were to go directly to the end from here, it has the potential to ruin the races of those that started on hards, because it's way too early for them to pit. But they're going to have a tyre disadvantage and have to take a pit stop, which, as we know, is over 30 seconds around here. So yeah, it's well, yeah, if there's no more safety cars, I think there's potentially race ruin for the guys that have started on hards. Unlucky for Dawdy on that one. So we are on lap 16 of 52, lots and lots of laps to go. What, 37? I think it's going to be a while for this safety car to come in, if I'm honest. I think we're going to be doing at least another 2 laps after this one, so admit, if I was one of these guys at the front, there's not a lot they can do because you're not gonna be able to get one of the softer compounds to the softer medium to the end, and so unless you've gone with the harder compound to start the weekend, i.e. you've got 2 sets of hards available, then there's not really anything else you can do. I mean, if they had 2 sets of hards available, they potentially could have pitted to a set of softs or mediums and then pitted back to hards before the safety car comes in. Ultimately, it's just going to lose them a load of places. There's such a tyre disadvantage now. They've done 15 laps on their hard tyres. Not sure exactly what the... I mean, we know that the hards will get to the end because the game offered up the potential strategy of soft to hard, so we know that the hards are capable of going to the end from here. But fortunately for Sniper War, I've only just realised, to be honest, but he is a lap down, so he's stuck. Not really in the middle of the pack, but he's sort of stuck towards the back end of the pack. And just unfortunately for him, that means he's got about 13 or 14 cars ahead of him to the front car. So you're not going to get that many people getting out of the way, unfortunately. Sometimes when there's only one or two ahead of you as a back marker on a safety car restart, those front couple might get out of the way for you so you can unlap yourself, but fortunately the game doesn't allow unlapping, in a sense of it doesn't release the lapped cars like they do in real life. But from what Codemaster has said, is they've explained it's something they have looked at, but it's apparently I don't understand it all, but it's apparently something that's extremely difficult to program into the game, so they're not expecting it next year either, to be honest. Oh, Wally's just telling me that Ollie's just telling me that he's only getting 84% throttle input for some reason, hence why he's not as quick as he was showing in qualifying. Yeah, Daldy, unfortunate, unlucky man. He had a spin. Yeah, operator, it's nobody's fault, mate. Operator just had a spin at turn 1, and we've all done that. And unfortunately, as you said, you collected him. It's not just one of those things. So certainly turn the race on its head, though, Daldy. It's going to be interesting from here. I don't see how these guys that are still on their starting hard tyres can win this race from here unless there's another safety car. Unless they get saved by another safety car, but even then, the likes of Big D, Atkins, Spreader, Shaz, who's been brilliant so far, Misfit, as I get kicked again, all those guys are on the correct side to get to the end of the race from here, as Greza has left the session apparently. I didn't even know Greza was in the session. Do you know what? I'm gonna not probably just break it further. Yeah, you was having a good race. Let's wait for notes. Fun. Come on then. Lovely, thank you, Greza. And I'll let's see if we can get him before the end of the safety car. Probably touch and go. Last week had a couple of problems in the qualifying, but we got through the race okay, didn't we? Yeah. Right, we've literally rejoined just as they're about to go racing again. So the safety car is driven into the pits, and now it's up to Leo to pick his moment, and away he goes. And oh, Jamsies has lost it on the final corner. Oh, I'm having trouble getting it going. Oh, I was worried it was going to disqualify him then, but it looks like he's going to get going again. I think. Oh my word! I thought we were heading towards that Alfa Romeo there for a second. Yeah, it looks like Ollie looks like he's really struggling now. With that throttle issue, as Leo has left the session, I believe. I'm loath to do this because I don't know if it's them or me. Sniper says he was last seen 1 hour ago on F122, so perhaps that's why he's so far back, because he's not been on the whole time. Chaz, yes, really had a great race so far, Chaz. And he's looking to really put the pressure on Spreader. Has a look at the inside, but I think recognised that was going to be a bit of a leap of faith. Leap of faith. You can tell he's been playing Assassin's Creed today, can't you? I think Spreader was aware of it though, so I don't think they would have come to any problems. But no, I think that was good awareness from both drivers. Could have potentially ended in tears. As got Lloyd and Davis fighting. And oh, surely not a cops. No, Brett's off for this one as well. Really showing good pace at the moment is Shaz. As Big D gets ahead is Leo. Oh, Leo, what's going on? I invited you, man. It says he's in a multiplayer game. All I can do is invite, I guess. I can't help it if... just aware that sometimes when you disconnect, you don't always realise. I've known people... In fact, around Silverstone, I know one guy completed the whole race, not realising that he disconnected at some point. Only for in the real race for his car to be disqualified because he never changed tyres at any point. He just drove right away to the end of the race on the same set of tyres it started on. Chad's really putting pressure on Spread. This is very... Let me give it to him. He's very clever on positioning his car to make it difficult. So Shaz would love to get this done now. He's clearly got a pace advantage at the moment. It's not always the case that you'll have this for the rest of the race, so... Through Angus and Beckett's once again now. Yeah, DRS open. A late one, but it is side by side when they reach the corner. So seems to get a better exit around the from the outside. As looks to the inside. Avoid each other and good racing. But Spreader does hold them off there. So both seem to get past Handy Leo again. This car is solid now, so it does appear that he's with us. He's just gotten with us, I don't know. Hope it's up 3 seconds. We've got somebody dropping down. It looks like it's Nick. Fortunately, who's just been given a ridiculous 10-second penalty, and yeah, he's ridiculous on that sometimes. And to be quite honest, in the league race, you just ask for that to get removed because I think we're all fully aware that it is a ridiculous penalty to be given. There's having moved off, Chance does now get the move done on Spreader. So up into P4, here's the McLaren. Both of these two have driven superb races today, but they so we do have, I think, the Ollie made it into the pits. There was a yellow flag, so I'm not 100% sure that Ollie's gotten directly. He's retired. Well, we know from what he's put in chat in the safety car that he's not his throttle's not getting full power from it. So I'm not sure. I do feel it's a blessing sometimes that I still use pad. I want to move over to rig now and start using a wheel and everything, but I do wonder sometimes if I'm doing the right thing in doing that, because I don't have the problems that people do tend to on wheels. I use a pad, so alright. So the leaders, I guess. Of course, it's all opened up somewhat with Leo disconnecting and dropping down, and of course with the safety car. So Spriggs is holding on to the lead at the moment, but is coming under a huge attack from Big D and in turns Atkins as well. Now I'm guessing, having started on the hards, Spriggs, I'm trying to think, if you're doing hard to medium presumably, I'm sort of guessing that you're somewhere in the region of 30 laps on the hards, 22 on mediums, something like that. It's got to be pretty close to that, I'd imagine. So he's potentially still got a good 6-7 laps to go in these hards, but looks like just. So I'm just going to nip down. So position changes going on here between these three. This is Ryle in the Mercedes, Operator in the Ferrari, Robbo in the McLaren. Drops now. Oh, Operator. Oh no, I don't know. That might have been a bit lag. So I just moved because just at the bottom of the picture it looked like there was a Haas having a go at another car, but it might have been the other way around. It might have been Cammy getting ahead with the Haas, actually. Cammy on a recovery, presumably. At Shrek, and Ryer, or you'd presume that these guys are going to have to pit. Well, Ryer definitely does, doesn't he? Because, well, Shaz has caught the back of Atkins. Just had a little moment there, though, because suddenly drops off a second. Maybe the door closed or something and had to back out, I don't know. But Big D has taken lead of the race. You felt like that was a bit of a... You know, like it was a bit sort of bound to happen at some point. I guess, going forward... Let's just say that Spriggs does come in. If we say that he comes in at the end of lap 30, say, still this lap and then another 5 more. So the guys that move to hards in the safety car are going to be 15 lap old hard. So there's no doubt that Spriggs is going to have a huge advantage tyre wise going on to fresh mediums. But to say the pit stop is so long around here, a pit stop, that not only is he going to have to come out and absolutely storm rain to try and make that time up in the remaining sort of 22 laps, he's got to make his way all the way through the traffic every time as well. He's got to get through without any issues. It's really hard to imagine they're going to be able to come back, but it's going to make it interesting. And of course the mediums will drop off at a faster rate than the hard, so they gradually catch up in terms of wear. And Leo continues to drop through the field, down behind Cammy now. I don't know. Yeah, he's showing ghosted. I don't know what's happened to him. I've sent a couple of invites. He did seem to solidify at one point, so he seemed to come back at one point. In terms of leagues, by the way, it's currently PRF1 1 and 2, FGR 3 and 4, PRF1 5 and 6, FGR 7 and 8. 2 by 2, Sarah, Sarah. Do 2 by 2, Sarah, Sarah. Lovely singing. Ah. Shrek getting up to P11 there. Just going past Leo, so I just saw an arrow and moved to it. Yeah, well, let's go to the top 4 then, because this is a 4-way at the moment. Big D, Atkins, Spriggs, Shaz. I said in qualifying I fancy Big D doing pretty well in Alpha Tauri, to be honest, and it's leading it away at the moment, but it is clear that the extra horses that Mercedes has got means that Atkins is really putting him under pressure. And you've got to give it to Spriggs. He's still there. Still sat in P3 on his 26 lap frying hards at the moment. I'm just looking down the order at where actually he's likely to come out. And I hate to say it, but I think he might actually drop all the way down effectively to the back. I'm not sure. He might. Well, no, he should nip out ahead of Operator actually. So I think he come out. Yeah, there's no big gaps. I can't imagine that he's going to get out ahead of Nick. I think when he pits, he's going to drop all the way down to P16. No doubt, though, he savoured a challenge of trying to get back through the pack, I'm sure. There are a few other drivers, of course, that are going to have to pit as well, so he's not actually going to end up all the way down there. But, so it's interesting to see if the likes of Kamarov and, who's the other one? Sergeant Kamarov and, Shrek. So, Shrek went to the hards at the end of lap 1, so I wonder if he's going to try and see them all the way through. I've done 100% around Silverstone, so I don't know. Oh, as Leo joins. Better late than never. He joins when down in P14, and Ollie leaves us. Unlucky Ollie. What's happened there? Something to do with your setup, I guess. Pedals, I guess. I don't know. Look at me trying to give you advice on that stuff. I ain't got a clue. Spriggs in then, so slightly earlier than I said, but he may be forced into that because of the time he's losing. So I expect him to come out just behind Nick. Well, behind Nick, not necessarily just behind Nick, but behind him. That's ahead of operator. Yeah, so Nick has gone through. Would have been pretty gutting for him. And operator's just coming in to the final couple of corners, so he is to say he is going to get out ahead of operator, but just goes to show, doesn't it, just how long you lose a pit stop around here. In a way, Spreader's sort of on his own a little bit now. Well, not on his own, he's got Dark Lord all over the back of him. Not close enough this time. Dark Lord will run out of tarmac way before he catches Spreader. I feel it should just take one time just to get through Maggotts and Beckett's really close to the Barry spread, and then he should be able to use the Alpine's power. But of course it's on mediums, so presumably not going to the end of the race. So I presume he's going to have to stop for softs at some point. Dark Lord. Big D in a pretty nice position at the moment, and I don't mean P2, but I mean the fact that he's running P2 penalty free and knows he's going to the end of the race, it's a pretty nice place to be in. He has just dropped out of the 1 second at the moment to Atkins. He's gotten ahead of him, and Atkins showing very good pace today. I think so far, in terms of it's way too early to call a driver of the day yet, but I think Shaz is probably at the top of the order for that at the moment. But it's going to be tight. May just about get alongside by the time we reach the corner. Going to go to the outside. May try. No. I think it's just going to have to hold on and just wait for another opportunity. Oh, picks up at 3 seconds though on the exit, and that's going to hurt. Let's just have a quick look where we are at penalties. Oh, Shaz has got 12 seconds. Oh dear. Okay, maybe not driver of the day then. Feels a bit harsh saying that, but I do put big emphasis on staying penalty free, or at least as low as possible for driver of the day, and 12 seconds is a hefty penalty to have picked up, so I think that probably puts Big D into the driver's seat for driver of the day. But anyway, let's get rid of them because I don't really want to see him at the moment. It's too early. What am I doing? Tires I want. Right then, so Davis. Davis trying to get past Robbo, but in turn Robbo's just flirting with the back of Ryall at the moment. Nipping him in a second, and he's nipping our cat again, and nipping in and nipping out, so tight there. Oh, Paul has caught the back of Spreader. Red Bull Sniper Ward, it's not been with us at all throughout the race. Disappeared at some point in qualifying and hasn't rejoined it. Unless they disappeared at the start of the race when incident occurred, but I don't know why they disappeared in a way. There is a yellow flag, and I think it's a Haas. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know what that yellow flag was, if I'm honest. That is Shrek into the pits in a way in the Haas. And that gets Spriggs back up to P14 now. So again, it really gives you an idea, doesn't it? Spriggs 12 seconds to catch Nick, unless it was Spriggs that just caused the yellow flag, and that's why he's so far behind. I don't know. It's sorry, let's get back to Paul. There's a few battles going on. I think this is probably our most likely one at the moment. I didn't get a beat there, but surely, yeah, it does have DRS. Picks up DRS here, but it's only a short little DRS zone. Needs to... I know it's easier said than done sticking to the back of the car ahead through sort of Pops, then Maggots and Beckett's, but it's what you got to do really, and then so you can get the overtake on the back straight. It's always your best opportunity around here. See the little injection of ERS just to try and get that little bit closer, and it seemed to work. And it's got a good exit this time, Shaz. I think you'll have this done way before you reach the corner. Again, look, that AlphaTauri, genuinely, that AlphaTauri has some straight line speed in it. It really does. Here they are, approaching into the stadium. Still side by side. And in the end, the McLaren does nip ahead and take the position off of Big D. But a nice 3 seconds to catch up to Atkins in P1. But of course, as we know, Shaz carrying heavy penalties at the moment, so Big D doesn't need to worry about that too much. In fact, in a strange way, Big D can stop defending now, and if he can stay reasonably comfortably on the back of Shaz to pick up DRS all the time and potentially leech off of their DRS in order to tow, may be able to build energy back up and may find himself being dragged back towards Atkins if Shaz can show that sort of pace. This is a battle for P4 at the moment, which is between Dark Lord, Master Spread, Paul Piddy, Sergeant Kamarov, who's... Yeah, Kami is having an unbelievable recovery drive, but again, it's all about whether he can actually get those hard tyres to the end. They've completed 29 laps already. Leo still hasn't pitted. It's him on the back of this as well, so he is there as well. This is Dark Lord and Master Spread going wheel to wheel. Again, I don't want to repeat myself here, but the question, as Leo does head into the pits now, it's Paul Piddy getting past Master Spread from P5. So yeah, the question still remains for Dark Lord is can he get to the end on those medium tyres? It does seem like an almighty task to get to the end on those. It's a long, long way. So just looking down the order a bit, Spriggs now P13. Was chasing Nick, of course, but Nick's there, 1.5. 9 point. Yeah, he's not made. If you recall, the last time we looked, Spriggs was 12 seconds behind Nick, and it's only about 11 seconds now, so he's not really making any inroads. And both on medium tyres, but Nick's on 19 lap old medium tyres. Yeah, I think it's just been unfortunate for the guys that started on the hard tyres, the timing of that safety car, because it's just killed their races. Unfortunately, they were just stuck on what could you possibly do unless you had another set of hard tyres and you could double stop and stop twice to get back onto hards, but having done one lap on a set of softs or something. So I don't think many people do use the hard compound selection for the race weekend. I've used it a few times, but I must admit it's never, so far it's not come in useful at all. I'm sure at some point, if I keep doing it, it will eventually. Raul with that stop is exiting in P16, which, yeah, I know we lost him for a long time and he's dropped down the order because of dropping out the race, but connection wise, but oh, and we've got someone off, and that is, well, it's the Red Bull that's been in. What's going on here? Because this Red Bull's been in AI the whole race. Is he just suddenly? He's out. That appears to be a retirement on track by a driver. I really don't know what's going on there. Shouldn't cause any sort of safety car. It's almost like Sniper Wars just suddenly arrived at the race and turned up and then just retired his car. I'm not sure what's going on there. In comes Dark Lord, so the answer was no. They can't get to the end. Maybe took a gamble there that with the yellow flags out that some sort of safety car may have happened and helped him out, but it's not occurred. And yeah, not even a chance of a set of softs, it's a set of mediums to the end. Yeah, that's fine, Ollie. I think, to be quite honest, mate, I think I would have probably given up a long time ago. Sniper Board leaves the session. I wasn't aware he was with us, but there we go. Oh, then, so Spriggs has got 6.5 seconds to the car ahead of him now. But again, the gap we were keeping, or I was keeping an eye on, was the gap to Nick, and that is 1.35, say. It's still over 11 seconds, so it's really not making any real inroads, although presumably Nick will have to stop because, well, Dark Lord had to, so presumably Nick has to, as we now get a sector 2 yellow, and it's a Ferrari. It's the Ferrari of Operator, who such a good qualifying. Qualifying to give him a good confidence boost, but a couple of spins in the race, and now looks like his tyres might be a bit lit up now. So on he goes in a way. Well, Leo, having pitted, is now out setting fastest laps. So the car ahead of him actually now, funny enough, is Spriggs. So he's going to go after Spriggs then. All our top lot have all sort of gapped out a little bit. Funny enough for us PRF1 guys, we've got Cammy and Spreader on track together. And Operator following that spin has entered the pits. He's going to see him fall a lap down. Unfortunately, Atkins is just coming through the final corner, so he's not going to. He's going to fall off of the lead lap. As in comes Kamarov. Oh, I really thought he was going to push to the end. But looks like we've got to a point of not being able to. So presumably now, actually, with the amount of laps left, surely he's going to pit the softs. And that's what the Operator's just done. So, just looking down, I think, well, Leo goes through easy. I think Jamie's is going to go through as well, and it's going to be touch and go if Dark Lord I think he's going to get past as well, you know. Well, flies past, in fact. It's going to be closer to Ryle. Am I going nuts? Has he stopped in the pit lane? What's going on? Yeah, no, he's still there. Okay. In fact, Ryle then got past as well. He stopped in the pit lane at some point there. Never mind. Big D remaining penalty free, and at the moment I have to say still on target to take my driver of the day. Robbo I got to give some credit to, because if you remember back, well, again, presumably he's going to have to pit, but he was the McLaren that spun or was off track right at turn 1 right at the start of the race. So, and ended up pitting at the end of lap 1. So it was one of 3 cars that pitted that lap, and to at any point got back to running P8 in this race. He's done really well. But, to say, presumably we'll have to pit as Nick comes into the pits now. So Robbo will actually go through and take P7. I would say, if I'm Robbo and I'm looking at the tyres, if there's any chance that I can get into the end of the race, then I'm taking it. I wouldn't be pitting just because they're getting a bit worn. My suspicion is they're probably too worn. I don't. Quite simply because I would have thought that these guys, if like Nick, see, if there was any chance of getting to the end, I would presume that they would have taken it rather than hitting again. So they were pretty close on track, actually, Robbo and Nick. So I just wonder if Robbo's going to try and overcut and come in the end of this lap. Try and nick that place off. Well, yeah. That was an accident then. Nick that place off of Nick. We are struggling a bit for battles at the moment, guys. I do apologise for that. Nick has come out. He should... Well, he's come out on the back of Kamarov, actually, so... Cammy's just pitted to softs as well, so... I think Robbo, if he does try the overcut. I think he's going to do extremely well to get it. No, he's carrying on. I don't think it'd have really been an option because of the fact that Nick's pitted to softs. Softs only need like a third of a lap, about 3 corners, and they're at operating temperature already. So you know, they're not at peak temperature, but they're all operable. Up there, yeah, that word. Ultimately, we are heading towards, I think, an Atkins win. I think that's Haas's Shrek, by the way. He's not. Oh, sorry, no, Ferrari. I don't think that was a Haas. That's weird. Ferrari then. Yeah, sorry, it's just a bit confusing because the car behind Big D is a Ferrari. It's called Biddy, but the Ferrari that's actually just there is operator who's a lap down, which is why he's ghosting a little bit, because he's a lap down. So, sorry, that was just, well, it was confusing for me in a way. So, does he come in? Does he stay out? I want him to give it a go and to get to the end. I really do. I want him to try and get to the end, Robbo, because nobody else tried. So, give it a go. If the tyres blow up what you lost, it's a fun race effectively. So, it's, Cammy gets ahead of Ryle. Cammy's got those super softs on at the moment. Brand new fresh softs that are going to be feeling great for 5 or 6 laps before they start wearing a little bit. Still feel pretty good after 5 or 6 laps, but they will hit a point where they begin to go off before the end of this race. They don't last long at all. They don't last long at any of the tracks, the softs, do they? But the Silverstone's not great for them at all. Mediums and hards seem to, well, hards especially seems to last ridiculously well around here, but softs on most tracks, to be fair, this season just seem to really go off and burn up quickly. So there's a tiny bit of contact there between the two of them. Nick, in the end, has gotten through, so he wanted to get that done, didn't he? Because he don't want to fall too far behind Kamarov. He was catching Kamarov. He got him within a second of him, but whether that was because Kamarov was on the back of Ryle, I don't know. Right, well, so this is our only sort of battle going on at the moment. There is other little things going on. You've got Davis is catching the back of Robbo, and he's just outside the 1 second. That presumably is because Robbo's tyres are really, well, to be honest, they're starting to scream at him right now, having done 28 laps on those mediums. Davis has got Spriggs just behind him, just over a second. I think Spriggs has done a great job today. He's another one that's just been a bit unlucky with the safety car. It's, clearly a very fast driver, Spriggs, which I like to see. So only pretty much a handful, yeah, in fact, exactly a handful of drivers at the moment still remaining penalty free. I think those drivers always deserve a shout out on 100% races, so Big D at the moment, penalty free. Robbo, Davis, Spriggs, and Shrek at the moment, all penalty free. That's something to be pleased about with yourself if you could do a 100% race being penalty free. It's a little bit of reward for you. Particularly at Silverstone, actually. Silverstone's very easy to pick up penalties because of Maggots and Beckett's, mainly. But turn one and Cops as well, actually, are pretty easy to pick up warnings on. So yeah, it's not easy to stay penalty free on a 50% race around here. To do it on 100% is pretty damn good. Ooh. Up here, sorry, I haven't realised they closed the gap down, so got Davis in the Haas, Spriggs in the Aston, and Leo, who's making his way back in the Alpine. Lots of DRS going on there, and I think Spriggs has got through. Leo's seeing if he can get through as well. But, Davis says, nope, you're not going around the outside there. You wait your turn, I think Davis is saying there. You wait your turn, Leo. Spriggs had to wait for the straight. I'm going to make you wait for the straight as well. Dartmoor picks himself up a pen. Where's he now? He's in 13th now. See, there's another one that's been sort of hard done by the safety car. Second run, nobody at fault for the safety car. It was just one of those unfortunate ones where operator had spun in turn 1, I believe, and fortunately Doherty Kaka couldn't avoid him and picked him up, and Doherty ended up retired and on track, so brought out safety car. So Leo through past Davis as well. That very nicely. So you get after Spriggs, who is now already on the back of Robbo's tyres. Are just yeah, they're cooked, baby. They're cooked. I tell you what, if Robbo, I'm going to say this now, if Robbo holds on to a top 10 finish, oh, well, that's a bit harsh, maybe. Oh no, because Davis. Yeah, so if he can hold on to a top 10 finish, I'll give him driver of the day, I think. And obviously, if his tyres don't blow up, that would be the other the other thing. Look how far wide he ran then. They're hurting. They are really hurting. It's I was going to say that Leo's going to fly past down this straight, but Robbo's picked up DRS as well. Oh no, Leo! That was silly. And then to reset the track like that and take the position off him, that was silly. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the perfect example of a lunge. Or dive bomb, I think is the favoured term. I tend to call it a lunge, but yeah, I think. Guessing there's some frustration in there for Leo from the way his race has gone, but I think ultimately Robbo was doing such a great job, and he's just had all that effort and work ruined because of, frankly, impatience. So yeah, Robbo's ended up in the pits now. I think that's more a case of, well, there's no point in trying to. I may as well pit for softs and maybe try and take the fastest lap or something. So let's just nip down. And, yeah. I won't comment on that one, so I didn't see enough of that to comment on that one, so I won't say anything. But, so just looking for a rub. Well, we're in the closing stages now, so let's bring up the penalties. And as you can see, Shaz hasn't picked any more up, so still on 12 seconds, but he's pulled out 10.5 seconds to Big D, so really close to being able to hold on to that P2. So I think Big D probably still my driver of the day. So I do think Spriggs has done a great job as well. I'll just say that. And it's Atkins as well, obviously winning only on 3 seconds. And and I don't think Atkins is particularly in a car that's too high for him. And if it is, then it's only 1 or 2 cars too high for him. It's not. You know, it's not as if he should be in a Alpha Tauri and he's in a Ferrari or something. It's not that big a gap for him. So Atkins done a superb job. So battles. Once again, our battles have just disappeared now. Let's go to Nick. He is within the second of Cammy, but ultimately, as you can see, he's got 16 seconds as well. Was it Nick that spun and got the 10 seconds earlier on? I can't remember. Somebody had a little spin earlier on and picked up 10 seconds, which could be Nick, because obviously it could be that, and then 2 3-second penalties. So, yeah. In fact, I'd almost certainly think it's him, because I can't see how anybody else could have got it. So, definitely I would say, in a normal league race, you put that in and have it removed from your final race time. So, for me, right now, I think Nick's actually, in a way, only got 6 seconds of penalties if this was an actual league race. So, this would be a genuine battle for position, if that were the case. Well, there's some consolation for Robbo. He's been very hard done by there, and I was really impressed with him. And I really wanted to be able to see if he could get to the end, but at least he's got the consolation of picking up the fastest lap. Oh, Sprague has just picked up a penalty for the first time. Ooh, leave some room. Nick. I mean, I think, yeah, definitely going to get a better exit out of there, but nice bit of battling. Front two are within a second of each other now, actually, but ultimately, of course, Shaz has the 12 seconds, so... Opportunity here? No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Might hurt Nick now because of the fact that he's not got the move done on the previous lap down the back straight. Cammy's now got himself DRS off the back of Davis, so let's just go to the leaders. Hopefully there won't be anything silly going on. But that's deliberate, that from Shaz. Deliberately run really wide for the entry. Try and get a better exit. Fortunately got too good an exit and touched the back, but here we go. Really clever from Shaz, setting up the overtakes. And gets it done into the left-hander. So obviously Atkins doesn't need to... There's no need for Atkins to fight it, really. Unless Shaz has suddenly finds some massive turbo booster button on that car. Not going to put out 9 seconds in 2 laps, so well, a lap and a half really. So then, just looking, it's really tight. In fact, Shaz needs to pull out another 10th to Big D to hold on to P2. Oh, as Atkins gets back past down the back straight. How could Atkins help out Big D here? Not purposely holding up, but the fact that they're battling could give Big D the chance to stay within the gap, the penalty, 12 seconds. Both had a slight lift through turn 1, so even being low fuel load, they still had to lift due to the fact they've done so many laps on the tyres. So, I think deliberately there from Shaz actually. Obviously Shaz will still want to try and win this on track. You know, they know they're going to drop down because of the penalty, but still ultimately would like to cross the line as winner on track. And I think deliberately is left an opportunity for the move to this straight, but I think it's too far back on the Mercedes. That McLaren isn't exactly blessed with straight line speed, unfortunately, so it really had to be on the back of the gearbox. Having a little look at the outside. I think this is a bit of there might not have been contact there. I think that might have been lag on my screen. But Atkins crosses the line and wins the Silverstone. Shaz crosses the line P2, but I think Big D is going to be promoted. So Big D promoted to P2, Shaz P3, does get a podium. Paul Piddy crosses the line P4 and has a little spin across the line. Spreader is going to finish P5. Misfit will finish P6. We've got Jamsies will finish P7. Oh, actually, no, I think Spriggs is going to be promoted. So Spriggs up to P7. Jamsies or Jamesies P8, Leo P9 in the end, but I think in an actual league race he'd definitely get penalised for that contact with Robbo. Davis P9, Leo P10 then, Shrek P11, Cami in 12, Royal P8, P13, Dark Lord 14, Nick in 15. Robbo in the end is going to take P16, Operator P17, and just go, yeah, Robbo is going to have taken the fastest lap of the race as well, as a little bit of a consolation prize after that contact. But there we have it, the Game Awards Shaz Driver of the Day. So what I'm going to say, I'm glad that Shaz has been given a Driver of the Day by the game, but my Driver of the Day I think ultimately is going to go to although I do usually put a gigantic emphasis on penalty free. I'm really torn. My head says I should give it to Big D, but my heart wants to give it to Atkins, so I'm going to follow my heart on this one. I'm going to give my driver of the day to Atkins on the victory. Well done. We'll have a quick look through the... Or I'll just scroll through the results, and I'll just scroll through there. Allow penalties to come back up in case they want to be looked at. And I'll just have a quick... I'll just quickly scroll through all the instances. It's going to be a lot because of the amount of penalties. So like 90, well, over 90% of these will be just warnings for corner cutting. So there we have it. There's the pit stops, as you can see. The one stop really was the way to go, and that's unfortunately just the timing of that safety car has really hurt some drivers' races. Well, ultimately the drivers that started on hard tyres, it's hurt their races. But you know, these things happen. That's the sort of gamble you take by starting on whichever set of tyres. You know, it could work the other way round, and that the medium tyre guys have already made their pit stops before a safety car comes out. It's the gamble you take, I guess. But there we have it. I think still a very fun race, but maybe not as fun as Brazil was last week, but still a very good race. I enjoyed it, and a really high amount of finishes as well. And obviously, one of the drivers, we only lost Ollie because of the problems he had with his throttles. So otherwise, that would have been one more. And yeah, so really good. I would say to the drivers involved, keep an eye on your Discords, keep an eye on your league Discords, because there is talks going on about what we may do with these races, because I think they've been really enjoyed. I like doing the comms on them. Depends what nights they're run on going forward. If I can continue to do that, I'm not really available. So, in fact, yeah, I can't see me being available any night, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll get somebody else to do it. But yeah, hopefully, basically behind the scenes, it's been talked about maybe some sort of league being built up around these races that we've done. So keep your ears open for that. Other than that, I believe PRF1's back next week. Just looking at what day. Yeah, I think it's next week. But anyway, as always, guys, thank you ever so much to all of you that watched live and kept me entertained. I got Aston Martin P5. Yep, spreader was P5, so he did all right. But yeah, guys. Yeah, so thank you to everybody that's watched live. Thanks to everybody that watched the stream back. The views last week on the last week's race were absolutely outstanding, so thank you very much to all of you for that, and I hope you do enjoy this one as much. Sorry about the problems with disconnecting. I'm not sure why that was happening this week. As I said, I did a hard reset on my internet earlier on today, and I did tests on it. It was working absolutely fine, so I've no idea why it suddenly started happening for when I started streaming, but just a shame. But I don't think we've really lost anything because of it, so there we go. It's just one of those things. Other than that, guys, let's say I'll be back for myself for streaming. I think I'm back. What day is it? Sunday. It's the first on Sunday, isn't it? So yeah, I believe I'm back on Sunday for HRF1 and WRL, so 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. I think that's correct. So if that's the case, I'll see you then. Good night. God bless. Enjoy your weekends, everyone. A happy... Well, you've already had Christmas, so Happy New Year to all of you. And yeah, I'll see you in 2023. Good night, God bless.